Come gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone.
Thank you. Good evening. I did not expect to be doing this again. Frankly, I didn't expect to be doing it at all. I thought we'd be wearing our pussy hats in celebration and not in protest, but here we are. For those of you who weren't here last year, and actually, how many of you were here last year? All right, look at that. Well, those of you who weren't here last year missed a really fun evening, but tonight's going to be, again, just an extraordinary evening of music and inspiration. So I'm really glad you all are here. And just a reminder, and you'll hear more about it later, but this evening's proceeds help support work on 5 more of the causes that are especially endangered by this administration. So hunger, healthcare, sexual assault, immigration, and climate change. You'll be hearing from the CEOs of those organizations a little later, and I hope you had an opportunity to have a chat with them before the show, but you will have time at the intermission. So November 2016 was tough. And I think a lot of us felt pretty helpless and hopeless, and we weren't quite sure what was coming ahead of us. And I decided to use my political skills and my fundraising skills and then my music buddies to pull together and have an UnNaugural to gather us all together and make change while supporting progressive causes. And tonight, 1 year later, with a smaller march, I have a smaller venue, but the same amount of energy, the same amount of passion. And we have 5 extraordinary performers with us this evening. So I'd like to get started. First off, Dr. Darian Pollard of Montgomery College. I have to give a shout out to the college for once again being an extraordinary host. If we can give a shout out to one of the very best community colleges in the country. She sends her regards, and the college has been super welcoming. Please, I want to reinforce David Eisner's request to please make your phones silent in the middle of a beautiful ballad. It would be sad if somebody's, ringtone started. So we're starting off this evening with Reggie Harris. Right. So many of you have seen Reggie solo. Many of you have seen him as a duo or in other configurations. We've got him here. He's an educator, he's a scholar, he's an inspirational speaker, a musician, and a writer. He's also a community leader with a heart of gold and such a joyous presence. So let's start our evening by welcoming the wonderful Reggie Harris.
She tells me I kicked her. It wasn't on purpose. How you doing? Oh, really? Come gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, so you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, keep your eyes wide, this chance won't come again. Oh, but don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the losers now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Oh, come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the halls, for the ones who get hurt will be fools who have stalled. There's a battle outside and it's waging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing. For the times they are a-changing. Come, mothers and fathers throughout the land, don't criticize what you can't understand, for your sons and your daughters are beyond your command, and your old world is rapidly aging. So get out on a new one if you can lend a hand, for the times they are changing. For the times they are changing. The line it is drawn, curse it is cast. Slow one now will later be fast, for the pleasant now, well, it's soon to be past. And the order is rapidly aging, and the first ones now will later be last, 'cause the times they are changing. Well, if you think this battle for freedom is done, the fight against hatred is already won, well then open your eyes, 'cause it's only begun. It's a battle that's still worth the waging, and we'll never be free till we all rise as one, 'cause the times they are changing. Oh, the times they are changing. Yes, the times they are changing. Thank you. Well, we're going to start the evening off right here. I want you to turn to the person that you came with, or someone that is just sitting next to you. I want you to look them in the eyes in this darkness. And I want you to just say in the most assuring, reassuring, and affirming voice, I can't wait to hear you sing. And then having uttered those words, I want you not to look at them while you're doing it. Unless you are so amazingly confident or you feel that they are. This is a song that I've been singing since I was, my mother tells me, about 3 years old. I sang it in the company of those in my church, the Nazarene Baptist Church at Nice and Lycoming Street. That's how we were taught to say it when I was young. They said, say the name of your church like you're proud of it, and then say where it is in case somebody wants to drop by. I can't ever remember anybody dropping by because I mentioned where the church was from. Lord knows I was trying to get away from the church since I was about 14. But my mother, Helen Harris, was a strong black woman. She knew that I needed to be in that church as much as possible, soaking up all those vibes from people who had struggled for a long, long time. Those folks knew something about staying on the job with struggle. Can I get an amen? Sounds like y'all know a little bit about struggle yourselves. Here's your phrase. God's gonna trouble the water. Take a deep breath. Loosen up your shoulders a little bit. I can feel the tightness from here. So we're gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna count to 3, and you're gonna sing that phrase like you've never sung it before in your life. I'll say 1, 2, 3, and you say, God's gonna trouble. Oh, y'all got a little something, something in you. Y'all know what something something is? Apparently not. All right, so I'm going to sing a little phrase, call and response. I'll say, well, who were those children all dressed in red? You say, God's gonna trouble. They must be the ones that Moses led. Well, who were those children all dressed in white? They must be the ones getting ready to fly. Good, then we go. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Oh, say wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Now, was it just me, or did I feel some of you singing that wade in the water chorus? I thought I did. I don't want you to be shy tonight. We're going to have a good time here tonight. Are we having a good time already? Thank you very much. Everybody, who? Su-ba-da-ba, su-da-ba-da-da-ba, za-ba-da-da-ba. Su-ba-do-ba-ba, za-da-da-ba, si-ba-da-ba-do-ba-da-boo-ba-do-ba-da-ba-ba-do-ba-da-da. Sorry, who were those children all dressed in blue? Say, they must be the ones that made it through. Oh, now who are those children all dressed in black? They never, 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 never gone back. Sing it with me, say, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble, say, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. You know God's gonna trouble the water. Say, God's gonna trouble the water. You take it, say. Yeah, oh, sing and say. Da-da-ba-do-ba-da-do-ba. God's gonna trouble. One time, say, God's gonna trouble the water. Well, it's been a rather eventful year. Actually, it's really funny. Somebody came up to me early this last year, and they said, you know, actually, it was several people. As I traveled around, I kept getting people coming up and saying, oh, my God, this is the worst time in American history. And I looked at them, I said, did you fail American history? I mean, really? I said at least 4,500 things this year that would have landed me in slavery or jail. Oh, that still could happen, couldn't it? Let's not go there. But this is not even close. However, yes, it's a tough time. However, after the first couple of weeks of the great catastrophe, I found myself just seeing an opportunity. And what I started to tell audiences and folks as I traveled around is, this is an opportunity because for years people would ask me, you know, how far do you think we have come? You know, how far are we on civil rights, on human rights, on women's rights? And I would always try to nuance my answer by by acknowledging the fact that we had come a distance, but by saying, well, you know, we still have a ways to go, you know? And that always meant a certain thing to people. It don't mean that now. what has been true for a long time in America has truly been revealed. And now, with it out there in the open, we have an opportunity to really work on it without being fooled by thinking that there is some great cover over this mystery of racism or homophobia or ignorance about the environment or whatever it is. We can face it full on. And I see that as a good thing. And I also see hope in the fact that there are so many people, you among them, who have always been and who have committed themselves to making a difference in the world. And then the conversations that we have, that we can now have. In 1992, I was at a family reunion, and my cousin, Faye Hewlett-Gray, gave us information about our family. The fact that we, as a family, started on a plantation in Ashland, Virginia, Hickory Hill. She told us that, and she gave us a big booklet. She did not have Ancestry.com. She had to dig through the county records and the state records, and finally, the records of the Wickham family. Williams Carter Wickham and his wife, Mary Penn Taylor Wickham, owned 253 slaves. And my family, well, was born because he, the slave owner that he was, a man of his time, had 5 children by a slave named Bib Hanna. Now, getting that information was an amazing thing, but what was even more amazing was that only a few years later, through a series of little incidents and opportunities, I actually managed to meet some of my Wickham cousins. And we have, in this time, embraced each other. And we're having a conversation about crossing those years. And on a particular day, about 5 years ago, I walked the land of Hickory Hill with my cousin, Lisa Wickham. The two of us, black and white, descendants of slave and slave owner, had an experience of past and present. Barren fields to the horizon, the ghosts of autumn catch the wind. Memories of those saints and sinners gather round, haunt us once again. Now we're finally here together, standing silent face to face. Secret family undercover, born of shame, saved by hope and grace. Hickory Hill, we're on hallowed ground, walking side by side, wondering what we found. Hearts break open wide across the great divide. I can see questions in your eyes now that we are home again. They celebrate the grand illusion, and they write it up for all to see. In that mystery of confusion, there lies a truth that might one day set us free. Oh, so now our stories come together across these fields of broken dreams. And the blood that binds us all together is indeed much thicker than it seems. Oh, Hickory Hill, we're on hallowed ground, walking side by side, wondering what we found. Hearts break open wide across the great divide. Can you see the questions in my eyes? Oh, Hickory Hill, we're on solid ground, standing side by side, wondering what we found. Hearts break open wide across the great divide. Can you hear the demons as they die, now that we are home again? Well, I want to do one more song for you, and for this song, I want to invite two of my friends, my neighbors, actually. I want to invite them out to help me with this song. It's a tribute to, I had occasion to write for, well, two of our friends, Mr. Pete Seeger and his wife, Toshi. Please welcome Greg Artzner and Terry Leonino. Magpie. Hey. As we continue to face an ever-changing world, a songwriter friend called me up 2 weeks after Pete Seeger died, and he said, "Oh my goodness, Pete is gone, and Toshi is gone, and so many are gone. What are we going to do now?" And I said, "I hope you've been taking notes, because what we do now is we act." We follow in the footsteps of those great people. They left us a lot of great songs, but also we write our own. And we act like we've been paying attention. On that day after Pete Seeger died, I went into a school, largely because that's what Pete would have done. I mean, Pete did that all the time. He inspired a lot of us to go into schools because he said, you look at those kids and they look to you for hope. But when we look in their eyes, that's what we see. We see bright faces that are ready to embrace truth and justice and freedom. So on that morning when I went in to sing for some second graders in New Jersey, we had a wonderful time of talking about Pete Seeger and Toshi Seeger, talking about songs and what songs can do in the world. And one of the young girls raised her hand and she said, "Where did Mr. Seeger live?" And I said, "Well, he actually lived near the river he loved so much. He lived near the Hudson River." And she said, oh. I said, "What?" And she said, "The Hudson River, it's an estuary. It flows both ways." I didn't call on her anymore. But one of the other kids, they said, "So he lived near the Hudson River, and where?" I said, "Well, he lived on a hill high over the Hudson." And as soon as I said those words, I asked my friend, the teacher, Amy, to get me a piece of paper. It's wonderful to be with you tonight. Thanks for coming. Thanks for keeping hope alive. The news came over the air tonight. Pete Seeger went sailing today. Set out on the Hudson about 9 o'clock, searching for new songs to play. Passed by Bear Mountain, making great time. as the water slapped hard on the bow. At Storm King he turned that boat into the wind, set the old Woody G on the prow. Now he's high over the Hudson, sails headed for home. High on the breeze as it cuts through the trees, Pete, you're not sailing alone. You're high over the Hudson, you got one hell of a view. Now your battles are won, a new journey's begun. Pete, we're singing with you of time and rivers flowing. The seasons make a song, and we who stand beside her, we'll try to sing along. A troubadour's life has its ups and its downs. Of that there's so much that's been said. Pete spoke out for justice year after year, a leader who actually led. He sang out for freedom, he sang out for peace, taught through the power of song. Ahead of his time in all seasons of life, he kept us all singing along. Now he's high over the Hudson, sails headed for home. High on the breeze, high on the breeze as it cuts through the trees. Pete, you're not sailing alone. You're high over the Hudson, you still got one hell of a view. Now your battles are won, a new journey's begun. Pete, we're singing with you. So many inner sailors, so many winds that blow. I asked the half-blind scholars which way the journeys go. Odetta and Mary say, welcome, good friend. And Woody and Faith both agree. You lived your life for 94 years, and you lived it with integrity. Now we as your children, and we as your friends, must take up your mission of song. As Toshi yells out with a smile on her lips, hey Peter, what took you so long? And now he's high over the Hudson, sails headed for home. High on the breeze, high on the breeze, as it cuts through the trees. Pete, you're not sailing alone. No, you're high over the Hudson, you still got one hell of a view. Now your battles are won, a new journey's begun. Pete, we're singing with you, with you. And we who must join in can't stand aside no longer. Now let the songs begin. Magpie, thank you so much for coming out.
Reggie Harris.
So you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are changing.